Today, we're going to start a new series called Building Big. And today, I want to talk about building a big vision, building a big life, building a big world, and becoming a big person. What does that mean for you? Once again, I don't mean just this American, like building a big life and having big vision and cars and homes. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a vision for your life, a vision for who you are. And this morning, I simply want to ask you a question. What do you see? What do you see? I want to ask you this morning, try our best to answer that question, but what do you see is my question for you. And I'm going to ask it a few times throughout this message, but what do you see? Let's look at 2 Corinthians this morning, 2 Corinthians chapter 6. We're going to read one passage in the Message version, but it says this in 2 Corinthians 6. Dear brothers, dear Corinthians, I can't tell you how much I long for you to enter into this wide open, spacious life. We didn't fence you in. The smallness you feel comes from within you. Your lives aren't small, but you're living them in a small way. I'm speaking as plainly and as open as I can with great affection. It says this, open up your lives. Live openly and expansively. Jump down to 2 Corinthians 10. This is where he kind of finishes the thought. He goes on this rant for like 4 chapters, but this is where he finishes his thought. 2 Corinthians 10. He says, we, however, will not boast beyond proper limits. We will confine our boasting to the sphere of service God himself has assigned to us. A sphere or a world or a plot of land, if you will, that also includes you. God has given us a sphere and we will not boast beyond this sphere. How many in the room, there were so many in the 9 o'clock service, you have glasses and or contacts? You need, oh my Lord. The majority of our church is blind. Okay, glasses and contacts, one more time, glasses and contacts. Unbelievable. We need that healing service or something. Man, no wonder you guys can't get on church in time. You don't know where you're going. Come on, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. My wife, Julia, has glasses and contacts. When my wife does not wear such helpful things, she is blind. Like can't see, worth nothing. About 2 years ago, my wife calls me and I answer the phone and I said, Julia, silence. Julia. Now, for those of you who don't know my wife, she also has extremely bad asthma. So I know I'm funny when I get my wife to have an asthma attack. Because when she laughs uncontrollably, it turns into an asthma attack. So I know she's actually laughing when she can't breathe. So, literally. So, my wife, I go, Julia, no answer. And I hear in the background, Dad. And I'm like, I'm getting nervous. Like, what is going on? She's not answering. Kirsty's like, Dad. And then all I hear is, Mom's wild. Mom's wild. So then I hear Julia wheezing. Now I know she's laughing so hard she can't talk. So Cruz is yelling, Dad, and saying, Mom's wild. Julia's laughing so hard she's having an asthma attack. I'm like, what happened? And she's like, well, we were coming home and I saw a Husky on the side of the road. And the kids wanted to stop and get the Husky because they wanted to bring it home. I was like, if this story goes into you telling me there's a Husky in my home right now, then when I get home from work, we have 2 dogs, we're gonna have a conversation. She's like, no. But the kids wanted me to pull over and catch the dog because there's no walker, there's no owner. The Husky was just running all by itself. So I pulled over and I was cornering the Husky. And I spent like 10 minutes chasing this Husky through the street, trying to, envisioning my wife just trying to corner this Husky, right? She's like, but the thing is, I was like, did you catch the Husky? She's like, no, I didn't catch the Husky. And I'm like, so what happened? She's like, the closer I got to the Husky, I was like, she's like, I also forgot to tell you, I don't have my glasses on or my contacts. And now I'm like, why are my kids in the car with you without you driving with your glasses on? She's like, but as I got close to the Husky, I realized it wasn't a Husky, it was a Coyote. My wife is in the street going, come on, to a Coyote that she's trying to kidnap and put in my car with my children. Come on. Could you imagine looking at your window and seeing a lady going, come on to this Coyote, not a Husky. And she's like, my vision, babe, I was like, we need to pray, lay hands on your eyes and get some healing. If you think that 50 little pound husky or coyote looked like a husky to you, they don't look the same at all. You know, I think for many of us, funny story, but I think for many of us, we've spent our lives chasing coyotes thinking they were huskies. We've spent relationships, we've spent money, we've spent time, we've spent sleep chasing things in our life that we think look like huskies, and the closer we get to her, or the closer we get to the job, or the closer we get to the opportunity, we're like, oh, this is not what I thought. Why? Because oftentimes, like my wife, our vision is lying to us. What we see is not what it is. Now, many of you, the majority in this room, have physical sight issues. But I would venture to say the majority of us in this room also have spiritual sight issues. You don't just need glasses to drive or to read. You actually don't have vision for your life. If I could ask every one of you this morning, no matter if you're 80 or you're 18, do you have vision for your life? And when you look into the future, or when you look into your life, what do you see? What do you see? Now, every one of us in this room that lifts your hand about glasses, you all have different lenses because you have different vision. There's 3 lenses that all of us constantly put on. One is the lens of the past. How you view your future is how you view your past. The lens that you put on every single day is the lens of your past. Well, I can't do this and I can't do that, and I came from this family and I came from that marriage, and I've been 2 divorced, and I have this many kids, and I have this much in debt, and I have this. All you view your entire life is from the past. Other lens that a lot of us put on is the lens of the present. All you can see is right now. All you can have is this moment. Or all you have is the lens of the future. You can't even talk about yesterday or today. All you view is the future. What's interesting is if you live in the lens of the past, you always live in shame. If you live in the lens of today, you'll always live with anxiety. And if you live with the lens of tomorrow, you'll always have fear. Every lens that you can choose is going to drive you to somewhere that God does not have for you. So this morning, I don't ask just what lens do you have or how bad's your vision, but my prayer for us this morning, as we talk about building big and building big people and building big vision, is that you would have a God lens. My prayer for you in your heart today is that you would maybe even today or throughout this week say, God, I want to see what you see. I don't want a vision of yesterday. I don't want a vision of tomorrow. I want a God vision so that when I look into my future and I look into where I'm going, I see what you see. You see, I think for many of us, our prayers are asking God to come down, but he's asking us to come up. We often say, God, do you see what I see? Can you look at my scenario? Can you look at my divorce? Can you look at my finances? God, do you see? What are we really saying? God, come down and see what I see. Look at it from my angle. And God does not want to look at it from your angle. He wants you to look at it from his angle. And I promise you, what you see is not what God sees. If I could ask you, seriously, when you look into your life, you look into your future, what do you see? And if your answer is nothing, that's not God. If your answer is, I don't really see a future, I don't really see where God is taking me, I don't really see something that God is building, that is not God's plan for your life. Because this is the reality. The life that you are building is in direct connection to what you see. You are building right now upon the thing that you see. What I mean by that is this. I have met with many people, me and Julia together, that I ask about a decision they made, a mistake they made. And I ask them, why in the world would you make that decision? And they often say, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm not graduating. I'm not taking that job. I don't have that degree. I don't have that job. I don't have the finances. I'm not ready. What's interesting is many people in this room, the decisions and mistakes that you made is not because you're a bad person. It's because you have bad vision. And I wonder how many people in this room can attest. The reason why I made that decision is because I didn't see where I was going. I didn't see where God was taking me. I had no vision for my life. So why does it matter what I do? Why does it matter what I smoke? Why does it matter who I date? Why does it matter how I spend? Why does it even matter? Why? Because what you're saying is, I don't see where I'm going. I don't have a vision. I don't have a future. So no wonder you don't think your decisions matter. Ask, what do you see this morning? What is God speaking to you about? What do you see about your life? And once again, I don't just mean jobs and businesses and 7 coffee shops and 3 design studios. And cool. I'm not just saying, what can you produce? I'm asking you, what can you become? I'm not just asking you, how much money can you make? I'm asking you, how much character can you have? Don't confuse this. Just like, oh, I see a business and I see money and I see a degree. Awesome. I hope you see those things. But more than that, what do you see about you? What do you see about who you're becoming? I love this quote by Helen Keller. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. From a blind lady. She says, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. You know what's wild about Jesus in the New Testament? He says multiple times, those who have ears, let them hear. We all have ears. Those who have eyes, let them see. We all have eyes. What is he saying? It's possible to have ears and not hear. And it is possible to have eyes and not see. My prayer today is that as we go back into a time of worship here shortly, is God, I want to hear what you hear. I want to see what you see. Open my eyes, open my ears. Why? Because I want to see what you're doing in my life. I want to give you 4 thoughts about vision this morning, but understand this. We serve a God of visions and dreams. God is so committed to you seeing something, he talks to you while you sleep. They're called dreams. He's so committed to you seeing something, he talks to you at work. They're called visions. Visions come at day and dreams come at night. God is a God of vision and dreams. It's actually how he steps into your life. It's actually how God steps into the human experience is with dreams and visions. 112 times the Bible says God spoke with a dream, and I gave them a dream. 133 times it says in the Bible that he spoke to them in visions. That's 200 and something times. That's 235 times. 245 times, whatever that math is. That God said, I want to talk to you about something coming, about something not yet. And hear me, vision is not a 10-year plan. Vision is God's plan. So I'm not saying today, get your notepad out, go home and on your mirror, write down your 10-year plan. I have a vision. Wait. We'll get to that in a moment. But I'm talking about a God vision, a God sight, having us see what he sees. And so this morning, I want to give you 4 real simple thoughts about vision. I love 2 Corinthians 6, where he says, live openly, live expansively. Why are you living so small? It's not our fault. We didn't fence you in. The smallness you feel comes from within. Listen to me today. No one on this earth can make you live a small life but you. No matter what's been done to you, what's been said about you, what has not been said about you, what's not been given to you, the smallness you feel comes from within. It comes from inside. Why? Because many of us don't believe we deserve a big life. We don't see anything. Why? Because I don't deserve it. I don't come from that family. I don't come from that money. I don't have that degree. No, God, for every one of you in this room, have a vision and a dream and a purpose why you're sucking air on this planet. Number 1, there's 4 things about vision. Number 1 is vision takes a plan, and obedience when God changes that plan. Pause, first one. Vision takes a plan. I think many times we're more committed to magic than we are Jesus. Let me explain what I mean by that. We make a prayer, God shows us a vision. Like, yeah, just do it, as if God is a magician. Do it. Do you have a plan? Do you have a process? Have you actually mapped out when God speaks to you about things coming? You actually map out. I have a plan. I have a process. I know how I'm getting there. Okay, look at what Proverbs says. A man plans his ways. We have plans, but the Lord directs their steps. This is what I mean by and it takes obedience when God changes the plans. Because what happens? We have vision, we have a call, we have a future, and we start walking, we have our plans, and God says, step there. Well, God, I had my plan, but he redirects our steps. So you can have your 5-year plan. Some of you type A, you're like, no, I need it. I need it. I need it on my mirror. I need to stick it up. Have your 5-year plan. Go for it. But my question to you is, are you more committed to your 5-year plan than God? Plan your ways. Plan your steps. What happens when God redirects your steps? And then, but that's my plan. And God says, this is my step though. Well, that's my plan. Yeah, you could plan your ways, but God redirects your steps. And I would like to challenge you to be more committed to God's steps than your plans. My dad used to always say when I was a kid, and I hated it, but I'm saying it because I think it's true. God can't move a parked car. God can't direct a parked car. In other words, start walking. Start moving. Make a plan. And as you're walking and as you're moving, God then redirects. But this is what happens. We go, okay, God, if you want to speak to me, show me all 10 steps and I'll do it. There's a reason why God doesn't show you all 10 steps, because now you don't need him. There's a reason why Psalms 119 says, it is a lamp unto my feet. Not like one of these spotlights. You know how small a lamp is? Do you know how much you only get to see with a lamp? You don't get to see 30 steps down the road. All you see is the next step. That's why it's a lamp unto our feet, so that every step that we take, it takes faith, it takes obedience, it takes trust. He's not gonna show you 10 steps down the road. He will show you the next step. He will show you the next move. He will show you the next decision. Vision takes a plan, and it takes obedience when God changes the plan. Many of you in this room are the result of that. You came here for college and have been here for 10 years. This was not your plan to stay here. Many of you have tried to get out of Portland to go take another job, and God has closed every door. Why? Because as you make your plans, he will direct your steps. Vision takes a plan. Number 2, vision takes sacrifice. Vision takes sacrifice. If you're asking God to pour vision into your life, but are not willing to sacrifice for it, you are not ready for vision. Everything that you want in God and in vision is on the other side of sacrifice. My son, who's around here somewhere, he's 1 year old, and one of my sons, my youngest son, is 1 year old, and he really enjoys food. That's why we call him Chunks. And he always is double eating with both hands. Both hands. And sometimes when I come to give him other food or another packet or other bananas or whatever, he sometimes tries to hold all of his food but grab the other ones. With he's trying so hard not to drop but try to grab. And he realizes, even as a 1 year old, I must let go of what I have to stretch for what I want. He knows that even as a baby 1 year old, if I want that packet, if I want that banana, I must let go so I can grab the thing in front of me. How much more for you and I? The thing that God has in front of you, the thing that you want that God is showing you, it's gonna take sacrifice. And by the way, you are sitting in someone else's sacrifice right now. As we took an offering 2 years ago to raise money for this building and to renovate, you are literally sitting in someone else's sacrifice. And by the way, you are sitting in vision right now. You're here because me and Julia saw something 5 years ago and we stepped out in sacrifice. So you are literally sitting in sacrifice. You are sitting in vision. Whatever God has for you, as God draws you out, it's gonna take sacrifice. It's gonna take letting go. It's gonna take sowing. It's gonna take releasing. But for many of us, there's this wild story in Luke 5 where Jesus says, those who don't want the new wine tell themselves the old is just fine. It's this wild story. He goes, though I have new wine for you, but you've told yourself the old wine is just fine. Everyone in this room, God has something for you. God sees something for you. And it's not what your mom sees. It's not what your sister sees. It's not what Twitter sees for you. It's not what the nation sees for you. God sees something for every single one of you, but the way forward is not reluctancy, it's sacrifice. It is not hoarding, it's sacrifice. God, I want to do it. Sow that. Let go of that. Sell that. Give that. Step out. Everything that you're praying for, vision of your life, is on the other side of sacrifice. Third, vision not only takes sacrifice, it takes faith. Listen to me. When God begins to speak to you, if your response back is, I could do this, God was not talking to you, you were talking to you. Because anything God says to you, your response is not gonna be, I think I can do that. I have the skills for that. I have the acumen for that. I have the degree for that. It's gonna be, oh my God, if you don't do something, I'm gonna fall. If you don't meet me in the middle, I'm gonna fall. If you don't meet me in the middle of the water, I'm gonna fall. Everything that God wants to speak to you, it should not drive you to pride. It should drive you to your knees. God, if you do not show up, this is so much bigger than me. God dreams and God vision should actually have a holy fear to them. A holy fear, not an earthly fear, a holy fear. There's a reason why God wants to speak to you that it's so big, and so that every morning you have to go back to Him. You have to go back to prayer, back to pursuit, back to Him. Why? Because prayer or vision takes faith. By the way, faith is not just a noun, it's a verb. Faith is not just who you are, it's how you walk. Yes, faith is a noun. I'm a person of faith, a noun. It's also I walk by faith, verb. It's an action. Nowhere in the New Testament, nowhere does Jesus say, stand with me. He says, follow me. Nowhere does He say, sit with me. He says, follow me. There's an action about following Jesus. There's a moving about following Jesus. There's a movement about following Jesus. He's never gonna have you stay. It's gonna be, come on, walk, move, join, not sit, stand, and stay. Vision takes faith. What does Hebrews 11 say? That faith is the assurance of the unseen, as though it were. Why is it that we have made peace with low expectations? I don't know what's scarier, acquiring and getting what you asked for, or aiming for something you know you can't get. Why have so many of us made peace with low expectations? Well, this is what God has for me, and I guess this is my life, and I don't have that family or that money or that degree, I didn't go to that school, and I didn't have those opportunities, and I didn't get to do that, and this is just my life. Whoa, wait a minute. What God are you serving? Why have you committed to low expectations? Others of you, why are you committed to disappointment? Why have you made peace with disappointment? Well, I stepped out when I was 20 and now I'm 45, I won't do that again. Why? Why have you made peace with falling? Peace with low expectations, peace with disappointments. God is calling many of you again, come out of your boat, come out of your hiding place, come out of your comfort. Join me out here. Friend, faith never lives in comfort. Ever. If you think you're living a life of faith and you feel comfortable, I hate to tell you, you're not. Faith moves us out of our comfort zone. Faith moves us out of our ability. And vision takes faith. When we get ready to give here in a few Sundays, once again, we're not giving money for paint and carpet and new bathrooms and new kids' rooms and AC and all the things that we need to do. No, we're giving our money for more Ians. We're giving our resource for more Ians that are waiting to have a church that they can look upon and go, I found myself. And please don't get it wrong. This isn't just addicts that find their way. There's billionaires and millionaires out there groping in darkness. Don't let the suit confuse you. Don't let the house and kids and wife confuse you. There are people that have what you want, and they're still groping in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what I have and who I am. And you think, well, they have the money and the title and the front desk and the corner suite and the penthouse, and they're still going, I don't know who I am. I don't know why I'm here. What am I doing in this job? It doesn't fulfill me at all. I don't know why. There's more Ians waiting that they might become big people. But it's gonna take us giving of our resource here in 6 weeks. And what? Faith, stretching, sacrifice, moving. Number 4, and I'm done. Vision takes collaboration. Every one of you in this room that God has given you a vision, God is not into superhero kingdom people. Have you noticed that the entire Bible, there's always an and? It's Paul and Silas. It's Paul and Timothy. It's Peter and James. It's John and Paul. It's Moses and Aaron. It's Jesus and his disciples. It's Peter and James. There's always an and. Why? Because God is not into kingdom superheroes. He's into collaboration and unity and team. So my question to you is, who's on the other side of your and? It's gonna take people that surround you, draw things out of you, plant things in you, call things out of you, plant things in you, call things out of you, and plant things in you. Who is your and? Who's your people around you going, I see something in you? Who's around you drawing things out of you? Vision happens in collaboration. Listen, I can cast vision, but we carry vision. This is not an Andrew thing or a pastor thing or the staff or teams or this is the spiritual people and I'm brand new here and oh wait, I can cast vision, but we carry vision. And the vision that God has put in my heart is so much beyond me. It's so much beyond this room. It's so much beyond our church. Like I'm praying for an actual move of God in our city, an actual revival in our state. Cool, we have 1,400 people. There's 1 million people in the city limits alone. Can we think bigger? Cool, we have 10,000. There's 4.8 million people. Like, we gotta raise our vision. We gotta raise our desire. Why? Because I wanna join God's vision. I do not want him to join mine. Who's your and? Who's your collaboration? When we all give in November 13th, it's gonna take all of us. Not just a few of the businessmen and women or a few entrepreneurs or a few whoever. It's gonna take every single one of us. Why? Because vision always takes collaboration. I wanna end where I started. What do you see? When you close your eyes and you think about, what do you see? What lens do you think with? There's no way God could do something. Do you see my mistakes? Take the lens of your past off. There's no way God could do something. Do you see where I'm at? Take the lens of today off. I don't know where I'm going. Take the lens of tomorrow's fear off. And God's desire, because he's a God of visions. He's a God of dreams. That when you look, you see something. This is why Proverbs, I end here. This is why Proverbs says, those without vision, NLT, cast off restraint. What? Vision will restrain you. I'm not gonna make that decision because I see something better than that. I will not date her because I see something better than that. I won't spend money like that because I see something better than that. Vision actually is guardrails. It's a restraint. It's, I want to do that, but I see something better than that. So I say no to this because I see something. I say no to that job because I see something better. I say no to that guy because I see something better. I say no, why? Because vision is restraint. But you will live with no restraint if you live with no vision. Vision, hear me, vision creates vision. So as Rose is casting vision, I don't want you just to gather with Rose's vision. I want you to go, God, what are you doing in my life? God, if you're speaking to Rose, speak to me. God, if you're moving Rose forward, move me forward, God. Move my mind, move my heart, move my vision, move my words. Vision should create vision. So when you see God speaking to someone else, it should not create insecurity, it should create passion. Because God, if you're speaking to her, speak to me. If you're speaking to him, speak to me. If you're moving that couple, move me. God, because I know you are speaking to me. You're speaking to my heart, and let me see something. What do you see? So maybe some of the deepest pains of your life is because you were busy chasing coyotes. and you're convinced they were Huskies, and God's like, I don't see that. And some of you have stopped chasing Huskies because you thought they were Coyotes. And God's like, no, move, step. I don't think it's that good of a job. No, it is it. No, I don't really feel that. I don't see that. What do you see? When you close your eyes at night, when you drive in your car, when your soul quiets down, do you see anything? And if the answer is no, I don't see anything, that is not God. God's not playing hide and seek with you. Oh, find me. Nope, come over here. Nope, chase me down here. God's going, I'm right here. I want you to see. I want you to find. I want you to know. God is not playing with you. God's not playing some kid game with you. What do you see? Because big people always have vision.